Hello there! Testing, testing, testing. So I'm gonna be practicing a little bit, and I hope you guys are gonna join me. I'm in the key of C minor pentatonic. I haven't planned anything for this session. I'll just be around, so if you guys got any questions or thoughts, just shoot. I'll be more than happy to answer them. And until then, I'm just gonna try to play and see if I can, weave in a bit more groove into my playing, because that's something I've been wanting to do for a long time. So the idea is to kind of scratch and get the rhythmic grid. So I'm going to try to keep this kind of thing going, because that's groovy. So if I can fit some notes into that, it's going to hopefully be good. So if you guys want to join, I'm in the key of C minor. And as you can tell, I'm not really trying to play anything super fancy. I'm just trying to, follow the groove. That's what this is about, pretty much. guitar. What's up? Awesome to have you here. So that's a good question. How do you make a minor arpeggio with another scale? So if I get you right here, basically the question is, how can I include a minor arpeggio into some other key, right? So let's say like a C, or you said minor arpeggio. So let's say we have A minor arpeggio here. How can we fit that into E minor or something else? And if I got the question right, this is basically about something that's called diatonic arpeggios. Basically arpeggios that can be found within another scale. Now I could give you a long, complicated explanation here, but we're just gonna skip that. The easiest way to visualize this is to check a scale diagram, and then you're gonna notice that some dots make these arpeggios. So they basically look like an arpeggio. And that's a way to check if a certain arpeggio is contained within a scale. So, but let's do some minor arpeggios then. Here's one for you. We're gonna play, I don't know if you know this one, it's one of the most basic ones. You can start on the 12th fret A string there. And then you play 12th fret, 10th fret, 9th fret, 10th fret, 8th fret, 12th fret. So that's all the way up. And then you're gonna go down again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then obviously, you won't be able to kind of shred right away. It's going to take a lot of time to develop that accuracy. But here's the basic A minor arpeggio shape. Arda, what's up? So let's try just throwing in some arpeggios here, and we can see how it sounds. Arda, I'm doing good, man. Thanks a lot. How are you doing? So let's see here. Arda, I might remember your username. Was it like 3 or 4 years ago? You know, I'm old now. My memory doesn't serve me as well. So let's see here. So we're in the key of C minor. Some arpeggios right there. So it's always a lot of fun to throw in arpeggios, and you don't even have to play them fast, right? You're the Mixolydian guy. I don't remember. You have to give me some more details. So for those of you who just joined, I'm basically trying to improve the groove factor of my playing. So typically I'll do some blues licks and maybe some shred and maybe some arpeggios as you suggested, crash guitar. But now I want to, work more on, just more groove basically, and I found that a good way to do that is to force myself to stick into this kind of grid. Cool, so did I help you out with the Mixolydian scale? And when was this? You have to give me some more details. I'm getting curious now. Was this like a month ago? Is my memory that bad? Or was it like 3 years ago? We'll see. Cool, the proletariat. Are you Swedish? Proletariatet? The proletariat? Could be Swedish. Anyhow, everybody needs to work on this. And the good news is there is absolutely no need to start trying to play fast from the beginning. It's kind of popular on the internet, but when you're making music, nobody really cares. So you can just start from the C minor pentatonic scale and try coming up with some phrases. Arda, you want a special lesson, but I'm here now. I can give you a special lesson now, here. Why wait? So just let me know what you need help with and we'll do it right now. Oh, Wisconsin. Okay, not that close. So what does proletariat mean in English? In Swedish, it's like, the workforce or something back in the days, where either you were like a rich noble guy or you were a peasant. So, and the proletariat basically, well, that's a really poor explanation, but poor people who worked hard basically. Oh, so you gave me a tip of Mixolydian. That's good, mate. So let's try the Mixolydian here. I don't think it's gonna work. But maybe some major pentatonic. Doesn't really work. Oh, the blues is definitely more your goal. Awesome. So you're on the right place then. Not only do we have some really cool blues lessons on this channel, but I personally love I love basing my lines around the blues. In fact, I use it as a basis for pretty much everything, even when I really do some heavy shredding. I like to resolve things into blues, so but we're all peasants, so that's why it's a cool username. So yeah, the blues is cool, and this is a pretty cool backing track actually. Well, I wrote it myself, so I'm biased, but anyhow, I find it cool to play the blues over this one. It doesn't really sound like traditional blues, but I'm not really traditional, I don't really care for traditional stuff. I just like to have fun when playing, and this is like a cool mix. It has a groove. So we can try it in C minor pentatonic and play some blues licks. You can just play the scale and end on a note and shake it a little bit, and you have something right there. But of course, you can get more elaborate, and especially with in the blues, I would say it almost always sounds good if you bend a little bit. As soon as you can, then try to do a little bit of bending. You're gonna discover that in some cases you have to be more careful, but you can shake a little bit. You can add a shake to every note pretty much. So try bending every note, and that's gonna require a lot of work, right? Because the technique is different depending on what string you're doing it on. You can't bend downwards if you're here, right? Likewise, you can't bend upwards if you're here. Plus, if you bend with this finger, you have those two, they can help you. But if you bend with this finger, you're alone. So it requires some practice. But the good news is that kind of practicing, I think, is super fun. So you can just... You're just 2 years older than me, bro. Took a lot of guitar and even harmonica lessons as a kid. I'm trying to get back into playing guitar more again. I can play, but I really want to get better at lead guitar. Ooh, you're even more like me then. So what I said here definitely applies. Whatever you want to do, try to get some phrases going in the pentatonic scale. That's really going to help you. Doesn't matter where you want to take it after that. If you want to add shred, rhythm, or country, whatever. you will benefit from playing pentatonic bluesy licks. Don't do that though. So that is for Arda, who's asking for some jazzy stuff. I'm really not a jazz guy, but I love adding some dissonances, which is typical to jazz. So we can do some really chromatic stuff here. Cool, you bought a looping station and you set a 12-bar blues progression improvised. Awesome. I can't tell you how many great players have, especially in our generation or even older, when there wasn't so much, internet and stuff like that when they started out. A loop station is really good. So well done on that. I had an old sequencer when I started out a long time ago. It was super advanced. It was like Yamaha QY70 and I invested all my savings to get those cheap MIDI sounds, but it did sound okay, and I could program like backing tracks in there, and it's good memories of that. But you really need anything that kind of inspires you to play. And nowadays, I'm actually most inspired by backing tracks, on the internet or on GMC, whatever. I like changing a lot, so I'll try to find, the backing track of the day pretty much. It's just a way to keep me inspired, because sometimes I'll find a backing track that works really well. So, it inspires me, and, I can record some stuff over it and it sounds good. And then it's tempting to sort of keep working on that backing track, but it's a bit like you can't really recreate the momentum. You have to start fresh, I found, all the time. Because if I try to just stick to one backing track, it might work for a few days, but then I get totally disgusted from playing at all, and I just have to take a break, which wasn't really my intention. So it's kind of, I've discovered how I work there. It might be a personal thing, but for me, finding new backing tracks is the best way. And I think working with a looper can be a really good way, because then you can, set up your own backing tracks, and you can easily shape the backing track of the day. So that sounds like a good strategy. Neth, Mr. Dahl, how are you doing, mate? What do you think a part of your playing is underdeveloped or totally neglected? Oof, where to begin? Now, it's really rhythm-wise, I would say. Not only am I kind of lousy rhythm guitarist, because I've never really spent a lot of time being a rhythm guitarist in a band. The only time I'll work on rhythm guitar is typically when I want to write some music in my studio. But the problem is, that's a fairly fast process, so it doesn't give me any practicing of rhythm shops. So I'm a lousy rhythm player for sure, and there might very well be a connection with the next issue, which is my timing generally. Now, in a way, I like my timing because I've never been a fan of counting. So I've never counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, Some people do that all the time, and I guess that's fine, but to me, it just, playing became too predictable when I was counting all the time. I ended up sounding like some machine, which is really not what I think music should be about. So I completely skipped that, and I never count. I never think about rhythm. I just think melody, and then that melody has a rhythm to it, and then I try to play it. So it's all good, fine and nice, but there are I realize now that having a rhythmic grid could be a good thing, because here's the thing: if you're very confident in playing a whole bunch of 16th notes and then proceed to triplet notes, if you can do that without thinking, then you have more brain power left for melody and stuff like that. And especially in the faster runs, I sometimes mess up quite bad with the rhythm, which is something I'm working on, and timing. And it's actually the theme of the day. That's what I'm trying to do here. I'm trying to kind of lock in this rhythmic grid into my right hand. I'm not there yet, but I like working on it. I did. You did get my attention. That's right. How can classical guitar help you at lead guitar? Well, I'd say having played any instrument is extremely beneficial for playing guitar. And in fact, it might give you an edge. So whether classical guitar or how it can be useful for lead guitar, it's probably too many ways to mention. But just an example, Rick Graham, the YouTuber, shredder and all that, he started on classical guitar, and you can really see how his relaxed his left hand is. And I think he's explained this in some video that he's classically trained, so one of the first things they train you is to apply just a minimum amount of finger pressure to, fret any chord. So when you're starting out on the guitar, you might be tempted to play these, difficult barré chords, and you're using a lot of strength, and you kind of get used to gripping really hard. And that's a major problem if you're trying to build a fast and flexible technique. And so the way to go about this would be the classical school, where you try to fret a chord, right? And you try what the minimum amount of pressure is, which you need to apply to even produce a note. So we can try that for the first note. No note there. Oh, there we have it. And so on and so forth. And that's how you get a super relaxed technique. That's just one way. Of course, with classical guitar, it's a guitar neck, so you will benefit from all, exercise and stuff like that. And if you're like me, love including your fingers in the right hand, if you check my right hand, I do a lot of that kind of hybrid picking, right? So if you like doing that kind of stuff, then you will also get that for free, because classical guitarists work a lot with their fingers, right? So I'd say the advantages are almost too many to mention. So if you come from a classical guitar school, again, you're going to have huge advantages as you're trying to explore the electric guitar. Of course, you can just keep playing the classical guitar, but do lead, right? Paco de Lucia, or, there's lots of cool examples of people who've done that. So Neath, it's this kind of thing that I'm trying to get better at, to really lock the groove. And it might not seem like much what I'm doing here. It might seem like something simple compared to other stuff. But the thing is, what I'm doing now is I'm trying to improvise freely within this rhythmic grid. Again, it doesn't look like much, but whenever I succeed in this, it's going to open up a lot of opportunities for me. It's my plan, at least. That groove you play, usually you use that stuff. can you mix a little bit, please? So you mean changing backing track? I could do that for sure, but this is more of a practice session. But yeah, maybe you have a suggestion for me. If you got a backing track suggestion, you can find any backing track on YouTube. Just paste the link here, and I'll play over it. Maybe you have some favorite backing track. Preferably not like a famous song, because then we get copyright strikes and all that. But just like a standard backing track on YouTube. You can paste the link and I'll be happy to play over it. Milton, what's up, my man? Awesome to have you here. I'm practicing groove here, so if you want to join me, I'm in the key of C minor pentatonic. So feel free to join me. Awesome to have you here. And if you guys want to suggest a backing track, feel free to send me the link. Preferably not any famous songs, because that will give us copyright problems. But backing tracks, there's a whole bunch of them on GMC, YouTube. So do you guys have any backing track suggestions? It would be very interesting to see. It can be a totally different genre. Metal, rock, whatever. Beat! We got Beat from the GMC forum. What's up, my man? Awesome to have you here. So I'm practicing groove here. I'm trying to get better at just kind of feeling that shuffle grid, or, you know, this kind of thing. So it might not seem like much, but it's basically just groove practicing. I want to really be comfortable with this so I can never mess up the groove again. Have you given a link to me? Maybe YouTube has filtered it out, because I haven't gotten a link. You know what? Can you just paste the name of the backing track? Because I think YouTube maybe filtered out your link. It thinks it's spam, basically. So give me the name of the backing track and let me know if it's on YouTube or GMC, and I'll find it. So Arda, can you give me the name of the backing track? Because I haven't seen the link. look up. No, I don't see. I think it's been filtered out. Please type the name of the backing track. And let me know if it's on YouTube. Oh, there we have it. Thank you. Jazz Blues backing track. Let's try it. Jazz Blues back, medium swing. Okay. Oh no, this changes keys, damn it. Ah, this isn't very tasty. Plus, it's over Mr. Quist's play. I can't play jazz. Sorry. I just play fusion, I guess, or something. But let's see if we have another one, maybe. I would love to see Improvise Guthrie style. Yeah, maybe just funk backing track. That could be more in the style of fusion. How about this one? So it's in the key of C minor. I just clicked the backing, like suggestion there. So it's this kind of phrasing that I'm working on, and to be able to keep that going for a longer time without messing up. Because I love this kind of, that swingy, kind of bouncy. That kind of thing. So that's what I was working on in the beginning of the session, trying to keep that kind of groove going for a long time. Arda, we can actually jam in this very moment. You go to the GMC forum and you're going to find we have an open collaboration right now, which is basically me jamming with other instructors and students. But it's in a pre-recorded format, of course, so you'd have to meet in person and record or play. But we can do it already as it is now on the GMC forum, actually. But that's just a parenthesis. Let's go. So if you guys want to join, I'm in the key of C minor. And if you guys want to suggest more backing tracks, feel free to do so. Again, it seems YouTube didn't want to show me the links, so maybe you're going to have to paste the name of the backing track. some Guthrie thing? How does he do that? Oh wait. I don't think Guthrie is proud of me. But thank you so much for the great work. Salvador, I haven't seen your link, so you have to paste the name. The link doesn't appear to work. Oh, we had a suggestion there I missed. Play the C Mixolydian over the first, C Dorian over the fourth, and C major over the fifth. Sounds just about right. I'm no jazz guy though. Cool. So Steve Vai jam track. I'm gonna try that one. Just gonna bookmark this backing track. It was a lot of fun. I have to come up with some new folder. Bookmarks bar. New folder. No, not in there. Come on. Come on. Come on. BT 2022. Okay. Save. There we go. So now I'm gonna search for that Steve Vai jam track. Yeah. Dave, I think you meant the jazz blues thing, right? Yeah, that's you would want to follow the chords a bit more closely. I've never really, I don't know why, but I've never found that really interesting because I think it's because a lot of the jazz blues stuff is it isn't as crazy as I want it to be. It's kind of limited dynamicness and stuff like that. But of course, you could make it sound anywhere you want to, I guess. Okay, so here's the backing track. Is it the one by Vito Astoni Music? Steve Vai style ballad rock guitar backing track? No, I don't think so. Steve Vai jam track. I don't know which one that is, actually. I'm not sure it's the one you're thinking about here, but let's try it. Is it this one? Let's see. A minor. By Andrew Fon. Okay, no, that's not the right one then. Vito, Andrew Fon. Vito, Q Jam, True Fire, Steve I. I don't know what that is. I'll just type Andrew Fon. Oh, there we have it. I found it. Nice. Think maybe B major, maybe. Kind of low in volume, but it's a really nice backing track. I'd have to adjust my settings a little bit, but I'm gonna save it anyway. See if we can find some other backing track here. Jacob, Steve I, E minor. Maybe we can have something that's a bit more groovy while still being Steve I. Who knows? I think most of them are in the style of his track In the Love of God or something like that. Prowling Blues is a good one. Thanks, Chris. I'll try it. Prowling. Is that a channel? Prowling Blues. Just jam, Prowling Blues. Cool, JTC guitar. E minor, supposedly. Was this the one you had in mind, Chris? Cyanayam. I think maybe I remember your username. Were you around back in the days as well? Cool, we have some questions here I've been missing. Well, gotta stop playing. Can't read and play at the same time. So, would you recommend learning a variety of riffs or just simply playing till you find something that sounds right? I'm learning scales, so I'm better aware of notes to play. I do think that if you're new to lead playing and stuff like that, it is not a good idea to just start with a scale and think that you're going to be able to come up with stuff. Most of the time you need a lot of external output, especially when you're starting out. So the ratio should be like learn 9 songs or solos or whatever it is you're working on, and then learn one scale. It's like a 9-to-1 ratio, I would say. You should never think of doing like learning a whole bunch of scales and then think, oh, what am I going to play in those scales? It should be the other way around, right? So most of the time that's easy because in the key of, or if you're going to perhaps start out with pentatonic scale, and that, there are so many good solos that uses that scale, anything from, bluesy stuff, Stevie Ray Vaughan to Metallica, Kirk Hammett or Slash, Guns N' Roses, whatever you're into, it's just, pentatonics all the way. So I would say, learn a little bit of scales and then learn a lot of music. So that's the way to go about it. Cool. So building riffs. So if you're struggling with that, is that something you really want to do, or is it something you think you should do? There's a difference. If you struggle with building riffs and licks and, don't do it yet. Learn other people's riffs and licks. And the more you do it, the more natural it's going to come for you to actually produce some output. You have to get a lot of input before you can produce some output. Sounds like you're going to go to the toilet or something. That's not what I'm thinking about. Cool. So we got a new backing track. Spanish rock ballad in E minor. Let's try it. Backing track. Very cool. changes in scales? I've just been playing. I think it's no, it doesn't change. The scales are just E minor all the time. It's a 6/8 signature, which I guess is, but it's nice. I like this backing track. Pretty cool. Very nice backing track there. You should all check that out. Spanish rock ballad. Okay, so just to follow up on what we were speaking about with the proletariat. I'm tired of only playing other people's stuff. Lol, I'm fascinated with musicians that seem to be able to improvise on the fly. Well, I don't really know your background that well, but if you have already played a lot of songs, then you can kind of disregard what I said before. You just want to be able to produce some output. Then, yeah, spend a lot of time over backing track. And here the key is, if you want to speed things up, you should try to borrow or steal really small phrases from other people. That's going to be insanely useful, especially if you can find some very short ones that seem to work for you, so you're able to come up with variations. A lot of time, that's what I do when I might have this kind of, some kind of 1, 2, 3, 4. It's just, and then, you have that one lick, and then you work on coming up with variations. It's going to take a lot of time. You won't be able to shred away, but you start like this, and then you might do, oh, there's a variation. I can slide it up maybe. And then you start coming up with phrases, and to the listener it might seem like you're just improvising long runs, but whereas you're actually playing 1 or 2 short patterns, and you're able to combine them because you've been practicing them so much. Okay, well then you probably have a lot of input there. So yeah, you can disregard what I said and maybe just spend a lot of time over backing tracks. I mean, if your goal is to be able to improvise, then you can sort of think of every practice session should be in the shape of an improvisation. So you should just grab your looper pedal or backing track, and even if your aim is to practice technique, you can still do it over a backing track. That's what I started out with this session. What's the key here? So you could... Whatever, you can really practice technique in a musical way over a backing track, because if you want to be able to improvise around with all these ideas, it's not like you're gonna practice exercises and then just one day you're gonna start improvising. You're gonna have to constantly work on that improvisation. So that's really the best advice I can give you. Try to sort of migrate into the world of improvisation and just be there all the time. That's sort of how I think you should go about it. Okay, yeah, well, that, it's definitely like that. You've learned several blues riffs, but I'm just trying to put them together. I feel like it's a bit of a learning, but also a bit of self-discovery at the same time. Yeah, exactly. Putting riffs together like that's really what it's all about, It's been a very long time since anybody invented the wheel on the guitar, right? We're all borrowing from each other and putting things together in a new way. So it's definitely a good way to go about it, I think. Kyle is here. Awesome. Yeah, musical practicing is what works best, for sure. And now I remember when I used to play all these, or when I used to do the backing track request thing, it's kind of exhausting to kind of jam over new backing tracks. You really have to focus. So I feel it now. I'm totally, my brain just is melting. But this was a nice backing track. Should we do Dorian as well? D Dorian. No, I didn't like that one. No, I've heard that one a million times. So, Storm Linnebjerg, congrats on your improvisation there on the forum. I really liked it. Really tasty stuff, and got such a nice tone. It just totally, you know, fits in with that backing track. Really nice. So this is a cool question. Does the scales that you improvise to change with each chord in the progression? Are you always in the same scale? Yeah, so this is a key element. In most pop and rock music, you actually stick to one key and thereby also one scale. So in most or many cases, there is no modulation happening. So basically, you don't change tonal or key center. And sometimes in pop music, you do it at the end of the song, right? You might go up like a whole step or something like that. You know, the final chorus is even higher in pitch. You know what I mean? So, but unless that happens, it means you can stick to the same scale. However, it's gonna sound, you know, it's still a bit random whether you're gonna actually hit the chord notes or whether you're just gonna hit notes that sound okay. But I'm fine with that randomness. I find that intriguing. But what some people do is they really kind of study each chord and they try to aim or have chord notes as their target notes. So basically, you know, aiming for arpeggios and the corresponding arpeggio to each chord. Sometimes I try to do that, but I just like I said, I like it being a bit unpredictable and you know, I think with pop music and rock music, the challenge is often to make it sound really outside. And some would argue that, well, you need to follow the chords for that as well. Maybe you do, but if you want to produce some outside sounding notes, it's not that hard. Right? So you can always play outside. I don't think that hitting the strong notes is really a problem. So I think when you do it a lot, you also, you know, practice your ears so you can somewhat hear where things are heading. And just, you know, there's just 7 notes to choose from, and so chances are you're going to hit a good one, basically. No, so if you're doing a 1-4-5, you definitely don't need to learn 3 different scales. You can go about it that way, but most people don't care about that. They just stick to one key. So, yeah. Okay, guys, I'm gonna take a final request now. I'm really curious about what utilisateur. Are you a French man or woman? I'm gonna see what utilisateur is saying, is suggesting rather. Ooh, that's a classic one. G minor, you should join me. Oh, G minor, sorry about that. Proletariat. See you later. Awesome! I'm happy I managed to reach your heart there. Very cool, guys. So I hope you guys have joined me in my jamming. It's a shame I can't hear you, but if you're on the GMC forum, you should do like Storm did, and you should just post video of you jamming. It's always interesting to see. And yeah, it's been a really cool session. We started out working on some groove, and we ended up shredding over YouTube backing tracks. Who would have thought? I hope I'm gonna be able to meet you soon again here. It's been a lot of fun. You'll find me on the I always announce these on the GMC forum, but I do them more often on Facebook actually than here on YouTube. So you might want to follow the GMC Guitar Lessons page or just my personal feed if you want to get notified, which is always fun because otherwise we miss each other. And yeah, until next time, practice, practice, practice. Have a good one. Cheerios!